Now, President Bola Tinubu addressed business community concerns at the 29th Nigerian Economic Summit, reassuring that measures are being implemented to enhance foreign exchange liquidity in Nigeria. He pledged to honor all legitimate foreign exchange contracts to clear a significant backlog and boost investor confidence. That backlog, estimated at around $10 billion, has strained local Nigerian banks, causing correspondent banks to suspend several transactions, and this has amounted to pressure on the Nigerian currency at the parallel market and the official exchange window, raising concerns about its further depreciation.
The 5 sub-themes: stimulating economic growth, mobilizing finance for sustainable economic development, harnessing human capital, reforming public institutions, and promoting national cohesion and inclusion are consistent with my administration's Renew Hope agenda. And we are confident that this summit will serve as a platform for translating our strategic vision into action and result with collaboration with you. After a decade dominated by 2 economic recessions and a global pandemic, we find ourselves coming into a federal administration at a time that is laden with even more challenging socio-economic conditions than was the case in 1993, the year of the very first Nigerian Economic Summit. Combined global economic growth is projected not only to stagnate but slide into a reverse trajectory over the next fiscal year from 3.5 million % growth recorded in 2022 down to 3.0 in 2023 and 2024.
Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins me now to discuss this further. Mr. Chika, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Good morning. How are you today?
Morning. How are you today?
Great. So, of course, lots of confidence on the part of the president there. What do you make of this? You know, forex liquidity, restoring market confidence, lots of promises there.
Well, I mean, FX. I mean, that's the sing song for our country now. Everywhere you go, you know, dollar, you know, everybody seems to know the exchange rate that is going to above 1,000. And as a battle. I mean, we talked about this several times. We said we support the merger of the exchange rates into one. And but if there's no supply plug at the end, it will be difficult to sustain that exchange rate. The parity between the CBN rate and the so-called black market will always be there. And the black market will continue to run away if there's no supply plug at the end. I mean, when things happen, people just think that, you know, there's no surprise really in this. If you don't feed your dogs, they'll be hungry and they will bark. You don't come back after not feeding your dogs after 2 days or 3 days, and you're surprised they're barking at you. You know, you're hungry. So supply is a major issue for Nigerian FX system. Supply is a solution that we're looking for. And where will the supply come from? And that's what the issue. The Minister for Finance has said we should expect $10 billion, you know, not in months, but in weeks, you know, shortly, to have that supply plug. We've already known that that's the major problem. And for us, the test, therefore, is, you know, when we see it, we believe. You know, when we see it, we believe. Because there have been many promises that have been made in the past that didn't come to play. Of course, increased production, NMPC production, reduced expenditures because we're told that the fuel consumption in Nigeria has come down by 30-40%. They say also things like forward sell contracts maybe of gas, or crude oil as case may be, and then sovereign wealth funds, they put it there, you know, who pay in advance for investment they're going to make. You know, those are the expectations. And as a risk manager also, you're going to put a lot of what-ifs on all those things and then look at the probability of them happening and hoping for the good of our country and all of us that plug of $10 billion comes in. You know, that's that. But that supply is critical to enable us. We have always known that if you don't clear the backlog, people are not going to bring new money in. And so it doesn't require rocket science to know that. And so that's that. But so the issue now for us is to make sure that all those elements happen, play together to make sure that happens. There's other two things that the president signed on executive orders.
Yeah, executive orders.
One is there's so much because of the fact that people are so worried about the naira. A lot of people are exiting the naira holding and moved into dollars and are holding a lot of cash under their pillows and beds and so on and so forth. And so that first one is to assist people, forbearance, to move in those cash into the banking system. Because when they're outside the banking system, when they're inside holes and crevices, they don't help the exchange rates. But if they come into the banking system, they help. I guess that's why that I've not seen the details of that to know why that was very, very necessary. Maybe because of EFCC and so on and so forth. Maybe that's why the forbearance is there. The other one also is that the ability to issue local dollar bonds, in Nigeria, so that people who have dollars in Nigeria can invest in those, and also bring dollars. I think the president mentioned it at the beginning when he came into this, and that there are going to be initiatives to let people who have dollars locally to bring them into the system. That will also help in the supply. Because a lot of people have run away from the local currency now and moved into dollars or anyone they are comfortable with in different ways.
Safety.
In different ways. I think, if you allow me, the other thing that the president mentioned there was about the $1 trillion economy.
$3 trillion.
$1 trillion economy in 2020.
In 2 years' time.
2 years' time, 2026 or 2025, but 2025. And then another $3 trillion in about 10 years' time.
Do you think that's a bit too ambitious? Or are you, the proof is in the pudding, like you said?
See, the point is that there have been forerunners. There have been economies where those things have been done. Where economies move from the red to the black overnight or within a short possible time. But it requires some discipline. In those economies, you don't see people in the House of Reps buying cars at 60 million per car, imported cars, when there's local production in Nigeria for those cars, and they justify it by saying they need, this. And in those economies, you don't see the kind of, propensity to spend, by the government, behaving as if the people are not suffering, In those economies, you see the power systems are working. Manufacturers don't go and spend so much money, 40% of their distance on power. In those economies, you see that transform. You see the security in the country. In those, there are so many things that are within our control that we need to do if we want to get to that place. I'm not saying it's impossible, but do we have the wherewithal?
Yeah. And the responsible measures that you are highlighting here as well.
A lot of times I just think that there are some things that I say, for example, we sit down here, our oil production is struggling to just be above 1 million barrels per day. And I've said it here that God has blessed us with oil. And that's one thing he's giving us. Just produce 1 barrel, you sell it at $100. Produce another barrel, you sell another $100. That's God's gift to us. Yet you sit down here and see that we're struggling to do that. What's happening? Why is it not happening? And you see that the president has so much political IOU out there that he has given out that the people who are doing these things, he cannot confront them or stuff like that. Because other people who have lesser impact on the economy, negative impact, they are spending so much energy. The army soldiers are going after them and so on and so forth. Why can't they go at these economic saboteurs? The life of the flesh is in the blood. The life of Nigerian economy is in oil. Let's focus on that. Everybody has spoken about that. So yes, we can make it in 2 years' time, 1 trillion, or 3 years' time, 1 trillion.
You believe it's achievable?
But it requires several critical success factors. And those things are absent. This is absent from the presidency down to everybody. You can't say that you're doing austerity or whatever. You can't say you're doing prudent spending when the people all around you are, flagrant with the money. So those are things that we'll see. So the 1 trillion economy, is it the one about states? Is it state governors building fake, bogus airports? Now, where the airports, contractors collect advance payment and disappear. And cargo airport somewhere here, airport somewhere there. Some of them have built airport that 747 and A380 can even land in places where you have one flight in a day. Some of them have used fake contractors, and I mean, so the things will require, discipline require, the rigor required, the commitment required to get there. We don't have them.
All right. So great promises, very refreshing to hear. But are you willing to do the work? Can you do the work?
To 1960, 60. From then, Nigeria have been doing the development plans. It's same sing-song.
That's true.
We know how to plan.
But execution is where the problem is.
And commitment to it.
Right.
Look at how much we have spent on refinery turnaround. Yet we don't have any refineries. I mean, so come on. Yeah,
very important questions there. Very important statements.
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe the Moses that come to our generation.
Yes. Let's hope. We can only hope that that's the case.
Let's believe the Moses that come to our generation.
All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu, many thanks for joining us.